What do you think happens when somebody convicted of a crime later presents evidence that the police and prosecutor fabricated evidence and lied to the jury? What do you think? What do you think happens? What do you think happens when the police show up 5 minutes before trial and claim that they've lost all the evidence that for the last year they claimed that they had, and that they've been using in other parts of the pretrial proceedings? What do you think happens when they show up 5 minutes before trial claiming that they've lost all the evidence? Well, I'll tell you what happens. Well, they continue the trial despite there being no evidence. And when somebody objects, like the defendant objects, because that's really wrong. I mean, here we are, after the last year of hearing about all this so-called evidence that the police said that they had, that now that it's time for them to put up or shut up, and they don't have to do either because some crooked judge decides that they're going to help them lie to the jury about losing it and deny the defendant their right to a fair trial and to dispute the so-called evidence. I mean, we're here. What the hell, Well, so it's rigged. The whole thing is rigged. All right. That judge knew full well that he was destroying that defendant's rights to a fair trial, that he was now giving the police carte blanche to present a lie, and I'm going to prove to you all the lies that this judge allowed them to tell, the victims lying, the prosecutors lying. I mean, they're all in cahoots to falsely convict me of a crime that I did not commit, that these cops fabricated. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to start out first of all, by talking about some laws that apply to the police and the prosecutor. And they are laws. Okay, so here's the bottom I got it highlighted. Rule 15.1, the state's disclosures. Initial disclosures in a felony case, unless a local rule provides or the court orders otherwise, the state must make available to the defendant all reports containing information identified in B3 and B4 that the charging attorney possessed when the charges were filed. And the state must make these reports available by the preliminary hearing, or if no preliminary hearing is held, the arraignment. B. Supplemental disclosure. Except as provided by Rule 39B, the state must make available to the defendant the following material and information within the state's possession or control. 3. All existing original and supplemental reports prepared by law enforcement agency in connection with the charged offense. Okay? So remember that rule right there. And then here I got ARS 13-2407, tampering with a public record classification. A person commits tampering with a public record if, with the intent to defraud or deceive, such person knowingly makes or completes a written instrument knowing that it has been falsely made, which purports to be a public record or a true copy thereof, or alters or makes a false entry in a written statement which is a public record or a true copy of a public record, or presents or uses a written instrument which is or purports to be a public record or a copy of such public record, knowing that it has been falsely made, completed, or altered, or that a false entry has been made with the intent that it be taken as genuine, or, in this section, public record means all official books, papers, written instruments, or records created, issued, received, or kept by any government office or agency, or required by law to be kept by others for the information of the government. Tampering with a public record is a Class 6 felony. Okay, the other one is ARS 13-2804 is the Arizona statute that defines the crime of tampering with a witness. You commit this offense if you communicate with a witness or try to have that person withhold certain testimony, testify falsely, or avoid testifying. A violation of this law is a Class 6 felony punishable by a prison term of up to 2 years. The language of ARS 13-2804 reads as follows. A person commits tampering with a witness if the person knowingly communicates directly or indirectly with a witness in any official proceeding, or a person he believes may be called as a witness to do any of the following: unlawfully withhold any testimony, testify falsely, absent himself from any official proceeding to which he has been legally summoned, evade a summons or subpoena. Tampering with a witness is a Class 6 felony. And then at the bottom here, we have 13-2809, tampering with physical evidence. A person commits tampering with physical evidence with the intent that it be used, introduced, rejected, or unavailable in an official proceeding, which is then pending or which such person knows is about to be instituted. Such person destroys, mutilates, alters, conceals, or removes physical evidence with the intent to impair its verity or availability, or knowingly makes, produces, or offers any false physical evidence, or prevents the production of physical evidence by an act of force, intimidation, or deception against any person. Inadmissibility of the evidence in question is not a defense. Tampering with physical evidence is a Class 6 felony. Okay? So with those in mind, let's continue with this ridiculous, disgusting, despicable act of, by this criminal organization that we call Sierra Vista Police Department and the Cochise County Attorney's Office, and the ringleader, Judge John Kelleher. So again, if you didn't watch the last video, I'm sorry. I had purchased a tool set from a neighbor, more of kind of a loan thing. I don't know. I didn't really know him that well, but he's a neighbor. I've seen him around. It's no big deal. His lights were off. He was trying to sell these tools so that he'd get his lights turned back on. And so, I looked over the tools. We asked him, whose they were, all this. He said that they were his father's. His dad left them and left them with him, so they were his, basically. And that he needed to sell them to pay his electric bill. And so we offered him some money for them and helped him pay his electric bill. After a while, I kept it. When I would see him, I was, hey man, do you want to get these tools back? And he finally said that he wasn't going to get them back. And so I put them online to sell them to recover my money. I didn't need the tools. I never needed the tools. I never wanted the tools. I was strictly doing it to help a neighbor out. Okay, someone out. Okay, after 2 weeks of them being on Craigslist, the police send some undercover cop to my house to purchase them. And he purchases them, and then a couple hours later, they come walking into my house, pointing machine guns in my face, ordering me around. And they're claiming that I burglarized somebody's house to get these tools, and which is ridiculous. I told them at the time, I said that this is the person that I bought them from. This is when I bought them. Go talk to him. I was working on Fort Huachuca. I had a security clearance. I had a great job. I was making excellent money. I mean, seriously excellent money. I do not go to my neighbor's house and steal stupid little worthless tool sets. Okay, and the police know that, and they knew that I had no. They knew I had no. That they had nothing. They never had any reason to suspect me of this. But this was a frame. I was being framed again by the same cops who framed me the first two times, and this time I was getting ready. I was in the process of suing them for those first two times, and what's the best way for them to shut that lawsuit down? Of course, to frame me for another crime. So that's why this happened, and I'm going to show you exactly how ridiculous it is, and how the courts have been protecting these criminals, and how many rights they violated, and how ridiculous it is. These are despicable, disgusting cops. These are despicable, disgusting lawyers, and these are despicable, disgusting judges. And we deserve better. Okay, there needs to be accountability. There needs to be accountability for dirty cops, for incompetent piece of shit prosecutors and judges. You'll see. So anyways, they came to my house with no search warrant. This is the document that they came to my house with. It's a police report that claims that on 9/22/12 at approximately 10:18 hours, I was dispatched to reference a burglary. When I arrived, I contacted Michael Miller, who states he had been out of town for the last 2 weeks. This morning, he entered his storage shed that is attached to his carport and discovered that his Ryobi cordless tool set containing a drill, circular saw, sawzall, and flashlight was missing. Also missing was a Craftsman 150-piece mechanics tool set. Both items were last seen approximately 3 weeks ago. While victim Michael Miller was out of town, he did have the Sierra Vista Police Department volunteer patrol perform house checks on his residence. I inspected the storage shed and surrounding areas for evidence, but did not discover anything. I attempted to find fingerprints on a cooler that had been moved by someone other than Michael Miller, but was unable to find any latent prints. I completed the victim's rights paperwork and gave Michael Miller his copy. This case will be forwarded to the Property Crimes Unit for their review. This case is closed. Date, time, the reporting officer is John Andela, and on the same day that he created it, approximately 2 hours after creating it, at 13/20/21, he closed the case. Does that make any sense to anybody? So then 2 weeks go by, and it's the day after my birthday, October 5th, and I get a call. Someone wants to buy these tools that I have posted online for the last 2 weeks. Okay, and so then they come in and they invade my home. They do an armed home invasion is what they do, because they never had a warrant when they came into my house. Never had a warrant. They kidnapped me. They robbed my house. They kidnapped me without a warrant. And so, I'm not going to mince words. That's what this is. It doesn't matter that they had badges. They didn't get a warrant. They never had a warrant. And we have our corrupt justice system covers for criminals just like this. So after this report right here was written 2 days after their home invasion and burglary of my house. Let's see how different it is. So this first one, that was a pretty generic description of very common tool sets, right? There's millions of these. How many people have a Ryobi tool set like that? How many people have a 150-piece mechanics tool set? Craftsman, you got to be kidding me. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. These are in the millions. All right, this is very common. So there's nothing that connects my tool set to any burglary or any crime. No, nothing is ever presented. No, Michael Miller, the alleged victim, never produced a receipt or anything that connected my tools to him. So this is written after their home invasion. So, and this, by the way, this other report was concealed. It took me years to get this report right here. It was concealed by the police and by the prosecutor, very, very hard. So it took me a lot of money and a lot of time to get that back. So, and so this is a felony right here. This is proof of a felony right here that the police committed. They are altering. This is the altered felony document. So let's see what it says now. On 9/22/2012, Officer John Andela, PD 460, was dispatched for reporting burglary. I responded with Officer Andela as his field training officer. Upon our arrival, we met with the victim, Michael Miller, who reported an unknown suspect had entered his storage shed, which is attached to his carport, and had stolen a Craftsman 150-piece mechanics tool set and a Ryobi cordless drill set. He further described the tool set to be a standard Craftsman set, however, said the large Craftsman sticker on the front had been of the plastic cover began to peel off, so he removed it. Yeah, there's a story about that. He also said that he housed a socket torque set inside the case, even though it did not come with it. He said the torque set, which is not a common tool, was purchased for the sole purpose of working on his motorcycle. He did not know the name brand, but knew it was not Craftsman. He also said he had placed a long Craftsman brand socket wrench extension inside the case, even though it did not come standard with the tool set. He described the Ryobi set as including a flashlight, circular saw, and a reciprocating saw, also known as a sawzall. He did not have the serial numbers for the Ryobi cordless set recorded. The set was later described as being housed in a large blue tool bag with Ryobi attached to it. Michael Miller said he had not locked the storage shed and did not notice any other items missing. Okay, so that's quite a bit different now. Now that they've seen my ad on Craigslist and they have invaded my home, now they are describing, putting the description of my ad on Craigslist in as the description of his tools. Okay, that is, and this is the lying piece of crap Officer Nicola, and this is the lying piece of crap Officer Andela, who now says on 9/22/12, approximately 10-18 hours, I was dispatched to Sierra Vista, Arizona, reference to burglary. When I arrived, I contacted Michael Miller, who stated he had been out of town for the last 2 weeks. On the morning of 9/22/12, Michael entered his storage shed, which is attached to his carport, and discovered that his Ryobi cordless tool set containing a drill, circular saw, reciprocating saw, and flashlight were missing. Also missing was a Craftsman 150-piece mechanics tool set, including various sockets, wrenches, and Allen wrenches. Michael stated he also had a set of torque bits in the tool set case that were specifically not Craftsman brand, but were less expensive generic tools. These torque bits were bought specifically to work on Michael's motorcycle. These tools were unique in that they would not be arbitrarily or commonly placed within the plastic case designed and made specifically for the Craftsman 150-piece tool set. Michael also had a long socket extension in the tool case that was bought separately. Michael stated that the Craftsman sticker on the front of the case had been removed because it had started peeling. He attempted to discover prints, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, again, so now in his report, the description now matches my ad on the pictures of my ad on Craigslist, which is right. Where is it? Where'd it go? Let's see. Hang on a second. Anyways, while I try to find that. This is the tool set right here. This is they took a picture of this at the police station after they bought it from me. Okay, and so let's see. It's very important. How did I do that? It's very important that what the heck? Oh, here we go. Let's do this. Okay, that you look at. See this right here. Okay. I want you to just take a second and notice how everything is there. Every socket, every ratchet, every extension, all there. This is the case that was on Craigslist too. These Allen wrenches were my grandfather's. I added them to the set. These Torx socket, actually they're called five-star sockets. These were purchased. I purchased them right after high school at the Pet Boys on Kolb and Golf Links. I've had them since then. This is not the full set. The rest of the set I still have, and I have also submitted pictures that I have the rest of the set because they're my tools. And in fact, if they were to look, they would see my initials on some of these tools. So because I put my initials like this on all my tools. So this is also another thing that, right here. See that? Do you notice that there's every single wrench is missing out of here? But oddly, nobody noticed this when Mr. Miller was supposedly 100%ing that these are his tools. Never mentioned not a one of these missing wrenches right here, the box end wrenches. Me, this being my tool set and having had this tool set in my possession, that's the first thing I noticed. So we're going to hear Mr. Miller here in a little while. I'm going to tell you exactly what his testimony is that completely, they're liars. So yeah, so the police and the prosecutors, through the trial proceedings, for the parts leading up to the trial, they were threatening me with 11 years in prison, and they offered me a 7-year plea. Okay, 11 years in prison, 7-year plea. And here I am sitting at trial after finding out from the evidentiary hearing when I thought I was fighting the warrant because I thought that my attorney was working on my behalf, where I found out that because when I thought he was working for my behalf, I went in and I told him, I said, well, we're going to be able to prove today that these cops are lying because they're going to be separated and we're going to be able to prove they're lying. They won't know what the other cops said. So. And as soon as I said that to him, he got up and walked right over to the prosecutor and told the prosecutor what I said. And the prosecutor and him got up and walked over to the judge and told the judge what I said. And so Judge Kelleher called Officer Nicola back into the courtroom where he remained for the rest of the hearing so that he could hear what his buddy Andela was testifying to and saying under oath so that they could keep their story straight. This is where, of course, I fired that attorney that was the part of that, that did that. But it was obvious right there. I knew that these people were all in on this false conviction from that point on. And then I find out that the prosecutor you have a hearing or a settlement conference, right, where they want to offer you a plea, and it's if you just admit to guilt and all that stuff. And no, I didn't commit any crime. I'm not admitting to anything. Absolutely not. Well, the prosecutor told me, well, if you don't take this plea, then I'm going to get the videos and we're gonna show them to the jury. And I said, videos? So you do have the videos? Right on. Okay. Boom. Let's go. Bring them. Let's show to the jury, because I know what's on those videos, and I know there ain't nothing against me on there. The only crimes that those videos are going to show are the crimes that the police committed. So let's go. So now we're at trial. 5 minutes before my trial, my wife is behind me in the gallery there, and we're looking at each other, and we're looking around, and the only other person in the room is the court reporter. Everybody else has disappeared. And after about 10 minutes, my lawyer and everybody comes walking out of the judge's chambers, and my lawyer walks over to me and tells me, the police have lost all the evidence. There's no evidence. The videos are gone. They don't have the videos. I said, well, what do you mean they're all gone? That's ridiculous. The prosecutor already admitted to having them. How would the police? Why? This is bullcrap. And I was like, why aren't you objecting? Why? Well, the judge said we're going to continue. So I objected. Your Honor, I object. Mr. Beatty, sit down and shut up. Your objection does not matter. What? My objection doesn't matter? That's ridiculous. So at that point now it's absolutely clear, 100%, that what I'm in right now is I'm just supposed to sit there and watch them destroy my life with lies and absolute. These people are fucking despicable, every single one of them. Okay. So, anyways, so they get to tell the jury now that they lost the evidence. So that's what this document is right here. We're going to talk about that right here. So this is my attorney. So, Corporal, was any of the contact with Mr. Beatty audio recorded or video recorded? Answer: yes, it was. Question: okay, what was the first contact that was recorded? When we sent Detective Osborne in, the undercover officer, he had what's known as a key fob, a keychain for a car keys that sets your alarm off or unlocks your car. He had a small key fob, which was a camera, an undercover camera, which he went to do to buy. He had a camera and recorded his actions just the way he was holding the keys when he purchased the tools from Mr. Beatty. And does that key fob both videotape and audio record? Yes. And what happened to that recording? Well, we're not quite sure. And if I could digress, I don't know if it has audio for sure. But what happened is the camera belongs to the Detective Bureau, specifically to the Criminal Response Team. And so they were going to download it onto CD for us, Officer Andel and I. And when we wanted it later down the road, they had already deleted it, thinking, in my opinion, it had been deleted by someone in Special Operations Bureau to free up room for another operation. Okay, I have spoken with other police officers, and this is an absolute lie. There is an SD card that they take out of the camera, and they put in the file, and then they put a new SD card in it, and they move on. Okay, copies and CDs only get made to lawyers. But there is everything else is on an SD card that is not. So this cop is absolutely lying, 100%. Is it unusual to lose evidence like that? It is very unusual. Yes. Oh, it is. Well, okay, but would it be fair to say that there's evidence in this case that has been lost? Correct? Yes. Now, when you were in Mr. Beatty's house talking to him, was that conversation recorded? Yes. And what happened to that recording? That recording, I was wearing a lot of patrol officers nowadays where it's just a small camera that hooks onto their shirt, their lapel, the button portion of their shirt, and just slide it down when you can record. And I was wearing that during the search warrant and when we entered his home. I had it the whole time, and that too was given back to CRT, the Criminal Response Team. It was given to them so that they could load it as well for us. Did they download it for you? No. Did they erase it? Yes. Okay, so first of all, what you have to understand about these two is that Officer Andela is a brand new rookie. Like he just completed the academy. Okay, so and that's what they're doing right now. Officer Nicola is his training officer, and Officer Andela is a rookie. And the academy school is basic officer training. Okay, they're teaching you how to be a patrol officer, write tickets, blah, blah, blah. That's it. not investigate felonies. They don't. This is, you do that after more training, But so during this time, Officer Andela has just maybe been out of the academy for 2 weeks, and for some reason, 2 years later, during this proceeding right here, they have made him the case officer, and he also signed the warrant, and all, and this is ridiculous. So, anyways, he's not supposed to have anything to do with this. I'll show you that in a minute. But so there you go. Also, these two officers, they are the ones that took this case. Okay, this is their evidence. Yet here they are, boo-hooing about other people. Other people did it. Other people did that. Well, we don't have these people. We can't ask these people any questions about it because this is bullcrap. This is bullcrap. For one thing, if they are too incompetent to preserve their evidence, then they are too incompetent to sit here in court and testify against me and make up this shit up. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous that a judge would allow these two incompetent cops to destroy someone's life when they have proven their incompetence from start to finish. It's ridiculous. So this is our judges. This is how they see us. This is what they feel about us. So then after all this, so now we've gone through trial, and of course I know they're lying. Everybody knows they're lying. So again, I spend years getting finding these police reports, and guess what? This surfaces. This is Officer Andela. He says, the recorded video and audio footage of the undercover buy of the tools at the home of Kenneth Beatty was not entered into evidence. This footage is no longer available and will not be submitted with the felony packet. This supplement shall serve as an amendment to the felony packet paperwork. So, okay. So the video of the buy was lost. But the video of the body cam footage that Officer Nicola was wearing was turned over to the state with the felony packet. Or it would say here, right? That too was lost. Because it was not lost. And they were allowed to lie to the jury and go to trial and lie. And this is ridiculous. And so now, okay, we have proof that they lied. And what do you think happens? Do you think there's consequences? Nope. Not any. No consequences whatsoever. For them lying under oath. For them, they're liars. Okay? And why is there no consequences? Because the judge knew full well that they were lying. And they all conspired to deceive the jury and to present them with false information about the police, these videos, so that the police wouldn't look incompetent, which they are. They are incompetent. They're 100% incompetent. And the fact that we have judges who think this is acceptable is bullshit. This is bullshit. Okay? We deserve better. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, just because I wanted to keep it about a half hour, and I'm going to pick up again in the next video. Okay? So please share these videos. This is not a monetized channel. I'm not here for money. I'm here 100% to inform you of the truth about criminal justice and policing in the state of Arizona, and how victims of lying cops and lying prosecutors and incompetent judges are all over the place, and there's nobody that's standing up or helping them. Okay, I'm one of them. So when you hear these people claim to be victims advocates, know that they are incompetent losers that are playing nothing but a role. They don't give a shit about victims, because the victims they create, they don't care about. Okay, this was a choice. These were all choices that these people made to go into a courtroom, to file false charges, to lie under oath, to manipulate, to play games, to deceive a jury, in order for them to get a false conviction, so that they wouldn't have to take responsibility for the other two times that they framed me when they had a criminal break into my house and plant evidence. Okay, this is what we get. This is the level of deception and deceit and disgust that we have right now, and we deserve better, and we should demand better.